Okay. Hello, hello, everybody. Ooh, let me adjust this a little bit here.
Hello,
Okay.
hello, Kim.
Hello, hello. We are also live on Facebook.
Nice.
Okay. I know this will adjust once Vita comes in. So if you are just joining us, welcome everyone to episode number 98. We are going to be discussing shade lift systems. So we are waiting for Vita to join us here on Instagram, and she will be joining momentarily.
Yep, just doing request to join, send request. So working with two phones here as usual, accept request.
Yep,
And
all
I'm
the
spinning, so I should be joining you guys momentarily here on Instagram.
perfect. And in just a second, there you are.
Ta-da! Here I
Yay!
am. Here I am. Hi, Kim. How are
Hello,
you?
Vita. Good morning. Happy Friday. Cheers.
Have,
Happy Friday before the holiday weekend.
look at you. What are you drinking? What kind of caffeinated concoction are you having
I'm
today?
just drinking an iced latte.
An iced
That's
latte.
all.
Sounds delicious. Okay, let me see if
Yes.
I can straighten this out here a little bit. Is this straight? So I've got this concave screen. So it goes like this. It's
Hmm.
like it's a huge screen my husband got for me. He's very excited about it. Me, I'm not so sure. I'm still kind of working through it. But now as I point the phone at it, now the presentation looks a little askew, but I think this is the best I'm gonna make it. So
Okay.
hey, where'd you go?
Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. You know what? I'm doing a new system here too.
Okay.
Oh, nope, that's not going to work because that's
All
covering
right,
the
while you
camera.
figure out your thing, I'm going to tell our listeners who are
Perfect.
here for Facebook and Instagram, you guys, if this is your first time, this is a live broadcast that Kim and I do every single Friday. We call it Window Treatment Friday Live, or WTF Live for short. No, it's not what you think. It's Window Treatment Friday is what it stands for. Although anyone who has ever done any kind of treatment, window treatments, knows that there's lots of WTF moments in this business for sure.
Exactly.
And so every Friday we are here at 9 o'clock or 9-ish, and we pick a topic, we take it apart, we put it back together, we geek out on all things window treatments. And today's topic is shade lift systems. So we're
Yeah.
going to get started.
So we're going to dive into, and when we mean shades, we mean type of hard type of treatments, and the same could apply to also Roman shades and whatnot. So this first particular product that we are showing here is a woven wood shade. This one happens to be from Hunter Douglas, although the lift system that we're going to be discussing here is available throughout most, I believe, most woven wood companies still offer this cord system. So what it is, it's a standard cord lock system. So if you are absolutely new to window treatments and you just do not understand what the cord lock lift system is, basically it's
We
when
have
you
we have a little bit of
we have a picture. Perfect.
a
So
granular shot of it.
yes. So when you pull the shade up, you have to engage, you have to unlock the cord from the lock system, which you see there on the bottom picture. And as you pull the shade up, the cord gets longer. And then you have to engage the lock and lock it back into place. And that's what holds the cord in the shade from moving back down. Now, I will say that with many Hunter Douglas products, they have discontinued this standard cord lock system. I believe it's only still available for woven wood. So right here, what you're seeing is an old picture of a honeycomb shade for their duets. It's no longer available in duets. They kind of discontinued it for child safety. We still do this system often, depending on mounting depth and whatnot. And some people just really like this old school lift system, especially if they don't have children in the home. They're not worried about the cords. But it is something that we do have I have a long in-depth conversation with clients that when you do pull the shade up, you are going to have this cord because the cords that run through the shade are going to come out now, and they're going to be hanging. So in order to kind of circumvent that and have, instead of having a cord dangling from your window, we will oftentimes install, we call it a clear cleat. So it looks like a clear U type of thing. And we'll install it either inside the window, inside mount, so it's kind of hidden, and it gives you the ability to wrap the cord around it, so you don't have this long cord hanging from your window.
Mhm. So I have to say, can you tie up the cord? Debbie is asking. Yeah, that's exactly
That's
what you're
exactly
saying.
what we do, yeah, we wrap it around, it looks we call it a clear cleat, you can get it in brass. I have a couple clients I have a client now that, we're doing woven woods for, but she really wanted the woven wood to sit tight into her window because she only had about an inch and a half of inside mount clearance, but she didn't even want like the folds to project out. She's like, what is the tightest I can get this in? So we are doing a turned head rail because you have the flexibility to turn the head rail. And I said, listen, when you pull these up, because she has significantly long windows, they're about 65 inches long. That's going to be a very long cord, and her she's going to have the shades 3/4 of the way up most of the time, and she's like, "Well, what am I gonna do with the cords?" I said, "We could put a clear cleat," and she actually, instead of wanting a clear cleat, she wants to do it a little bit more decorative, so we're doing a brass cleat. So, because she
Interesting.
wants it
Okay.
to look intentional. So I said,
Mhm.
"Okay, we can do brass." So it is definitely something that I do have a very long conversation about.
Yeah. So I have a love-hate relationship with this lip system. So I'll start with the hate part. Although hate is a very strong word. It's just from the
Dislike,
saying. Yeah, yeah, dislike.
dislike.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason I'm not fond of it, we'll call it, is for the very reasons that Kim just mentioned. When you operate it, that cord gets so long when you want the shade to go up. And the cleat, some people I suppose like the cleat, like in the example that you just
Yeah,
gave, and she even wanted to be intentional about it. I find the cleats to be very distracting. I don't like seeing them in the window. They're like little rabbit ears sticking out. They're like little antennas sticking
yeah,
out on the side of the window. I mean, tiny, they're teeny little
yeah.
things, but I don't know. That to me, they're just a distraction. So I'm not a fan of the chords. And then also not a fan of just the way it functions. Because, like Kim explained, you really have to engage. You have to pull it to the right in order to lock, and you have to pull it to the left in order to unlock. Did I get that right, Kim? Yeah.
Yeah,
Inward to unlock, outward
yeah,
to
to
lock.
lock.
And so it sounds simple enough, but in real life it never works. So you end up like pulling in to unlock and it doesn't work, and you pull it out to the right to unlock, but instead it locks it even more, and then that doesn't work to unlock, so you pull it again over here, so you're constantly doing like this motion, and then eventually it starts working. So I just find it sort of I don't know, slightly temperamental sometimes because it's so simplistic. Now, the simplicity of it is what I actually do like.
Mhm,
And what I mean by simplicity is that it serves two functions in terms of simplicity. Number one, it is the most economical lip system. So if you are on a budget and
mhm,
you are trying to just do it on a budget, then this is the lip system to use, because all other systems that we're going to be showing you later in this episode, they are all at more of a premium.
mhm,
The cord lock lip system usually comes in as standard for all of the window treatment vendors because it is the most economical one. So there's that. And then the other thing that I really like is the fact that it has the smallest profile. So you can see that the little what do you call that thing? Not a cleat, but the thing that's actually the lock, I
the
suppose. I
lock
think the lock, yeah, right. So with the picture that you see on the board,
bottom.
that's the lock that holds all of the ladders or all of the strings in place, and it unlocks it or it locks it. And so, because it's so small, you don't have to have a wide board to
Mhm,
house that lift system. So, and another word, another term that we use is a profile. So it has the smallest profile. So in Kim's example, just a second earlier, when you don't have a lot of depth in the window, or if you're on the outside and you don't want the shade to project into the room by too much, you want to have the board as small as possible.
mhm,
Well, the problem with not problem, that the challenge with other lift systems that we'll be showing you shortly is that they do take up a lot of space on the
Yeah.
board, up to 2-3 inches depending on the lift system. Whereas this little guy, I mean, it can be as small as probably half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
So it makes a really big difference. So I would say where I use this lift system a lot is in the situation where I need to have the smallest profile, combined with the fact that the customer is not going to be operating the shade a lot. So a lot of times we have a situation where the customer says, I want to have the flexibility of the shade for those 2 to 3 to 5 times a year that I will close the shade.
Mhm.
But majority of the time, the shade will stay open. I want it to be tucked nicely inside the window, or if it's on the outside of the window, I want it to be as close to the frame as possible. And I'm just going to keep it open most of the time, looking like a mock Roman valance.
Mhm.
And in that case, that's when we use this system a lot. And another variation to a cleat is if you don't want to have the little bunny rabbit ears sticking out. We, for the situations where the shade is not used as often, we take that long cord and we tuck it
Yeah.
behind the
The
shade's
fold.
folds. Just tuck
Mhm.
it in the fold of the shade.
That's what we do too.
Yep. So there you have it. That's our take on the cord lock lift system. Okay, next we want to show you a cordless lift system.
Mhm.
So this is actually a video. So let me power it up. There it is.
There
So
you go.
as the name suggests, it's cordless. So
Less.
it does not have cords at
Nope.
all. The entire mechanism is housed. I'm going to start the video again, but I'll keep talking. The entire mechanism is housed in the headrail of the shade. It's all the way up. And for the roller shades, there are really no cords that are hanging behind the shade, and there's no cord to tug at in order to lift the shade
Mhm.
up or down. For me personally, I think this is the best thing since sliced bread. If motorization is not your jam, or
Yep.
if the budget doesn't allow, or for whatever other reason motorization cannot be done, then your next best thing, I believe, is the cordless lift system. We try to present it to our customer almost like a given.
Mhm.
In very few situations where something else is more appropriate, but it is the cordless system that we try to give them as almost like a standard. Now, if you have kids in the house, that is 100% standard. No cords should be used with the kids in the house.
So I also love cordless, but like to Vita's point before with the standard cord lock, I want to talk about some of the things that I dislike about the cord or the cordless system. Not so much dislike, but I will call them more challenges with the cordless system. So depending on the product and the vendor, um, there are minimums. Like I know certain minimums in Hunter Douglas. Um, oh,
Oh my
excuse me.
goodness, bless you.
I have very bad spring allergies, so they're decided to act up today. I
Of course
know
they
that
do.
depending on the product, there is a minimum. So I know that certain with
Minimum width.
minimum width. So if you have a shade that's 20 inches, but the minimum width on cordless is 24, that lift system we won't be able to use that lift system. The headrail on a lift system, on the cordless lift system, is usually about anywhere from 2 inches to depending on the size of the shade, it could go all the way up to 3 and a half. So if you see in this photograph in this video here that Vita's showing you, this window has a very deep inside mount clearance or window well, depending on whatever verbiage you
You
use
can
when you're
tell by the
describing
sill.
the sill. So this is sitting very nicely into the inside mount of the window. We don't always get that. A lot of times we get like a half an inch, and then the client doesn't want to cover their beautiful molding. So then it's the conversation of, well, it's going to stick out. This is the profile of it.
Mhm.
So those are all things to consider. I know that with certain roller shades, not only in the Hunter Douglas collection, but I use a lot of Lafayette roller shades.
Mm.
Certain fabrics can't be made into cordless because of how thick the fabrics are. So it doesn't allow it's too thick on the roller tube. So
Mhm.
cordless isn't available there. So there is a lot of variables that go into it. And so if you are a window treatment specialist watching, and you have a business very similar to Vita and myself, then you'll know you have to know all these details. And every vendor it's very different from vendor to vendor. So that's kind of where my dislike on the vendor side or on the window treatment side, the specialist side, that's where it gets a little tricky. Um, the other thing that I find too, it's always my shorter clients that always want cordless. And now this window, you could reach the top of the window,
And I'm
but I'll
tall
never,
too. I'm a
yeah,
5'7", so
yeah. So yeah, you are tall. So it's always my clients that are barely 5 foot and
yeah.
have the tallest windows that want cordless. And I just look at them and go, but you're not going to reach the top of the window. So that's also something to keep in mind when you're speccing cordless is who the end user is. If there's a very tall person in the house that they could reach the top of the window, I'll never forget. It was this one client that we had. She wanted the designer wanted to match up the top of the Roman in the family room with the top of the mock valances in the kitchen, but the
Uh-huh.
family room was down 2 steps. So we were. I was like, yeah, no problem. And I thought, well, here we'll do the continuous cord loop. Everywhere else we
Yeah.
were doing cordless in the house. And the client was like, no, I still want cordless. And I just looked at her. I go, you're only going to reach halfway up of this window. Like I could barely get to even anywhere near the top of the window. She's like, no, I probably won't open them that much.
Yeah.
But these are the kinds of conversations that
Yep.
you have to have before something's ordered and fabricated because you don't want to have the product installed and then your client realizes that they really can't move the
Yep.
shade and clear the entire window. So
There's another thing that I want to mention to you guys about the cordless lift system. So let me run this video again for you to see that with this one from Hunter Douglas, it's so easy to do. I literally
yeah,
put my hand underneath and push it up without like, I'm not, like really like
yeah,
struggling or anything. I mean, I can do it with one finger and just like kind of like lift it up and it will stop at any increment. Like
hmm,
wherever I stop is where I stop. I just guide it up. If I take my finger out, then it stops moving. So there are two different kinds of cordless lift systems. There's this one that we're showing you and the one that we were talking about. But there's also another one that is more of a spring base. And that is the kind that you may remember from the 80s. Your grandparents had it, or maybe your parents even had it, or maybe you grew up with it. And
yeah,
that's the kind where you have to tug down for it to spring up, and then you're gonna get tug it down again for it to spring up again.
hmm,
And you never know exactly what you may be tugging it downwards and it's still not going up, and then you tug
yeah,
enough and then all of a sudden it just like rolls all the way up. so so there's that one. That one is still available from some of the vendors,
yeah,
and every vendor calls it slightly different. It would be a, I'm not even going to like pretend that I remember all the names, but
yeah,
the one that you want is the kind that is easily guided from the
yeah,
bottom to the top without it springing all of a sudden.
yeah. Those are I know old school. They're called spring rollers.
Hmm.
I know I have a couple companies have actually discontinued it, and then we'll have clients who have shades from the 80s and 90s that will come in and go, the fabric is in good condition. I just need a new, roller tube. And we're like,
Mm,
we can't get you
no.
one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, now that I think about it, you know what? We have this one roller shade company, and they have a slight variation on the cordless system. You don't have to tug uh, far down for it to go up,
But you still have
but
to engage
you
it.
also have to engage it. Exactly,
Yeah.
engage is a really good word. Like you have to tug it downward just a little bit, maybe like by a half an inch, maybe by an inch. It's just like give that little uh, pull down, and that it engages, and then it goes up. Now it can stop at any point. It doesn't
Mhm.
just like roll up into the thing spontaneously like the 80s one.
Yeah.
But you still have to kind of engage it. My
Yeah,
favorite is the kind that we're showing you from Hunter Douglas, and
just the
other
easy
companies
lift.
have that easy lift, right? And
Yeah.
other companies have it too. If your company doesn't have this particular one, then it's okay to have the one that pulls down and then goes up. But it
Yeah.
is something to discuss with the client.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm. All right, moving on. Oh, wait, it goes again. Here we are.
Okay. So this lift system here, again, this is another Hunter Douglas photo. This is called the continuous cord loop lift system or clutch lift system. This particular one, this picture here that we're showing is a regular roller where it's just an open roll. And what's cool with Hunter and some other vendors also, what they'll do is they'll do like the decorative bracket cover. So that's what you're seeing here. So you're not looking at, the very
Ugly metal brackets that are not
exactly. Thank
attractive
you.
at all.
So right here you have it. You could there's three ways that and again it's all product dependent and vendor dependent. This one is showing it looks like it might be a plastic bead
It is
chain.
plastic bead
Yeah.
chain.
So the continuous cord loop comes in three different types of loops. You have a plastic bead, a metal bead, and then you have the nylon cord. But the
Mhm.
nylon cord is dependent, like if you were ordering a vignette, a silhouette, a duet, you have those kind of nylon cords that you're able to go that you pull up and down. For the most part, most roller shades and Roman shades are going to have this beaded option, either in the plastic or the metal. I don't know, Vita, have you ever seen a Roman shade with a nylon cord? I have not, but
A Roman shade with
yeah.
just a cord,
No,
like
with
a
the
not.
nylon, yeah, not the bead, but with the nylon cord.
We'd use it all the time.
Oh, you use a nylon
We,
cord for a Roman?
for the yeah, we
Oh,
use
yeah,
foam.
we use the
Mhm.
metal chains on our Romans. See? Yeah.
So there it is.
Mhm.
It's not that one is good and the other one is bad necessarily. It is what is your preference as
Mhm.
the window treatment specialist, what kind of look you want to have as a designer. The reason that we switched over to nylon loops is because the sound that the beaded chain makes is pretty, it can be kind of loud, like
Yeah.
when you go through the clutch. Now the
Yeah.
clutch is like, how do we describe it? It's kind of like
It
I feel like it's like a watch mechanism, like it has grooves.
it has little teeth
Mhm. So
and
the beads go inside the
into
groove and out on the tooth, inside the
mhm.
groove and out on the tooth. So when the beads go into the grooves, they do make that sound. And some of my designers like really dislike that sound.
Oh,
So they,
really?
oh my God, yes.
You know what? 14 years, I've never had someone say they didn't like the sound. I mean,
Yeah.
I have the sound in motorization, like that motor's really loud, but never with a clutch. That's so funny.
Isn't it interesting? It's like as many as there are people, that's how many opinions you're going to have.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what Luann used to always say. You can line 10 designers up to like discuss one window and you could either and you will get 10 different opinions and solutions on the right way to dress that window.
Right.
So
The
very
right way to
the
do it.
right way to
I like
yeah.
it.
So
So if one may say that the noise or lack of noise is the positive with a with the cord
nylon.
nylon, thank you, the nylon cord, there is a negative, and that is it usually comes in predetermined
Color.
lengths of
Oh.
loops. Yeah, yeah. Um, it usually comes in like a foot increment. So it would be like 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet.
Mhm.
So however, with by contrast, the beaded cord, you can make it in any increment.
Uh-huh.
If you can have it 56 and 3/8, you can have it 78 and 1/4. You can make it to whatever you want. So when you have a situation where you have a need for a very, very specific length, then you may decide to bypass the noise level and really go for the length. So it just
Yeah.
depends what's more important in your situation.
Yeah. Now with the I know that I have clients that will get really specific on like, I want a brass bead, I want this color bead.
Mhm.
So we also go down that rabbit hole as well.
Right,
Um,
there's definitely different colors of the beading,
mhm.
yep, and there's also different
The
colors of
color
the nylon
of
loop
the
as
cord.
well, the cord. So here you're seeing another Hunter Douglas picture. This happens to be a silhouette, and actually silhouette, all of the silhouettes, they have the nylon cord.
Yeah, the silhouette. The only product in Hunter Douglas's lineup of products that has the bead is the roller shades. Every Everything else is going to have the nylon cord.
Mhm, mhm. And here what you're seeing, guys, is the whereas in the previous picture, you saw the very top of the mechanism and the way it's
Hmm.
housed inside the clutch. Here in this picture, you're seeing the bottom of the mechanism and it's the bottom of the loop. Now, Hunter Douglas provides these child safety gizmos. What's the right name for it? Definitely not a gizmo, but
No, it's basically it's the cord hold down so that this way the cord isn't dangling and hanging free. I know that we've had experience when I mean by law we have to put them on as much as
right.
like clients are like, "Ew, it's ugly." We're like, "You can cut it out. You can take it out once we leave, but we can't just leave it like dangling as such." Um I know we've had customers that have called us to do repairs where they've installed it so taut that the cord like when it's trying to go through the safety loop the cord over time will start to fray or it just becomes it's too tight. So when we install it, we kind of just bring it up a little bit to give the cord a little bit of slack and a little bit of breathing room so that this way it's a smooth operation and you don't feel like once you're getting closer to that hold down that the cord is getting stuck.
Mm, hmm hmm. Very interesting. All right, moving on. Okay, this is our next lift system, and I believe final, and this is
Yes.
motorization. Here we have a video,
Ooh, a wall
a
switch.
wall switch, yes. Ta-da! It's exactly what it sounds. There's a motor inside the headrail, and you press the switch, and the shade goes down, and then you press another switch on to go for it to go up, and the shade goes up. It is also a beautiful, beautiful lift system. And so when your budget allows, then by all means, definitely go for the motor. Of course, if the shade is really large, like the way it is here, then you really don't have a choice but to motorize it
Right.
because anything with of this size is just not possible to control manually. It would just be really, really hard for you to tug at it. So motorization is the way to go.
There are different now, a lot of companies like Hunter Douglas, Comfortex, they are developing, I believe Lafayette as well. They are developing these more cost-effective motorization options where they call, I don't know which company. Again, there's a lot of information that we have to retain as window treatment specialists. They call it soft touch, where instead of like in the picture where Vita had it, the wall switch, or you have a handheld remote, it's a wand that hangs down from the shade, and you just pull on it, and then the shade comes down. And then in order to stop it, you just tap the bottom of the wand. And then in order
Mm,
for it to lift back up, you just tap the bottom of the wand and it goes back up. So if child safety is an issue or not an issue, is a concern and whatnot, and you don't want anything with cords and you do have a window that's out of reach, there are soft touch options and it's a rechargeable battery motor. So you could just plug your shade in. You don't have to worry about taking out batteries or having it hardwired. I don't even think you have the hardwired option for soft touch, but it is a more cost-effective way,
mm.
um, in order to have motorization on your projects.
And the downside of it would be that you have to be at the window to control it.
Correct.
You actually have to
That's
walk up to the
the
window,
window.
touch the thing, and then it goes up. So you
Yeah,
can't be
it's
like in bed controlling your windows
yeah,
over there.
you can't hit the all channel on the remote and all the shades go up. and then
Mhm.
as you leave for the day, you hit the all button again, and then all the shades go down, and by the time you're walking out the front door, all your shades are just hitting, the windowsills.
Okay, you guys. So in summary, we showed you four different lift systems. The simplest and the cheapest is the cord lock.
Mhm.
The next up in terms of pricing is continuous loop cord. Then the next up in terms of pricing is cordless. And then the final one that we showed you is motorized. These are four main lift systems that we use at Vitalia Inc. There's others. Uh, we just don't use them as much. So we wanted you today to get sort of like a lift system 101
Yes.
to get an idea of how you can control your shades from the simplest, the least expensive to the most complicated, but also the most elegant as well.
Yes.
So hope you enjoyed that little tutorial.
Yay! And on June 10th, we are going to be celebrating our 100th episode.
Yay! I can't
Yay!
believe I've been doing this 100 times, Kim.
I can't believe everyone keeps watching us and has watched us 100 times. That's the fun part. So we would be so excited and happy if you would all join us for the 100th episode. It is going to be on June 10th at 9 a.m. We have a lot of fun things in store.
We have
And
some prizes that
yes,
you need to register to win the prize. You can't just show up because we won't have your name. So
exactly.
please register. The registration links are in both of our profiles. So if you're watching on Instagram, it is under Vitalia Inc. and also under WindowWorks. So go into our profile and you can register there. You can also find both of these events on our website as well under events. But definitely register so you can win these cool prizes. We are raffling off a Bluetooth speaker, a Echo Show, and Apple AirPods. And we're also going to have some very special guests as well joining us. So come join us for this 100th episode celebration, June 10th, 9 a.m.
Yes. All right. And if you are new to window treatments, we have a free ebook that Luann wrote on our website. It is Architectural Digest Isn't Coming 10 Things You Need to Know About Custom Window Treatments. Head on over to windowworksnj.com where you can download your free copy.
And from Vitalia Inc., we also have a gift for you. It is curated lookbook filled with inspiration and education. We call it 37 and a half window treatment ideas for you to steal, swipe, and use immediately on your next design project. You can get yours at vitaliainc.com.
And if you are new to awnings, we also have a free custom awning buying guide on our website. So if you are thinking about, you possibly want to have a retractable awning, a retractable roof, a louvered roof, go head on over to the WindowWorks website where you can get your free custom awning buying guide today.
Claudia, and you are so very welcome. I'm so glad
Thank
that
you
you
for
joined us
joining us.
today.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank
your
you,
kind
Claudia.
words. Yep. So, over the last 2 years and 100 episodes, Kim and I have created quite a library of resources, window treatment resources for you guys to use and deploy as you decide to design your window treatment projects.
Yes. And if you want to keep up with all things Miss Luann and listen to the audio version of Window Treatment Friday, where this lovely live broadcast has stemmed from, head on over to luannnigarrett.com where you can listen to all new episodes of a well-designed business podcast and also Luann's newest podcast, Window Treatments for Profit, where Ms. Vita is the co-host, and let everybody know about your weekly episodes.
Yep. So the second podcast that Luann started is called Window Treatments for Profit. It is a podcast designed, directed specifically for the window treatment professional. Whether you are a workroom or a retailer or shop at home type of window treatment professional, this podcast is for you. There are 3 episodes per week. The first episode airs, or one, right, the first weekly episode airs on Mondays, and
Mhm.
that is Luann interviewing a window treatment professional from the industry. The second weekly episode airs on Wednesdays, and that is when Madeline McCrae does a solo episode where she shares some interesting strategies and tactics for you to run your business. And the third weekly episode is by yours truly. It is called Vita's Tip in 10. And in 10 minutes, I give you real life, in real time kind of scenarios, examples from my own firm, from things that I am noticing and observing around the industry. It is the boots on the ground, eyeballs on the window treatments kind of experiences, and I extrapolate a single tip, and it is that laser focus that I bring to every single episode. And you walk away in 10 minutes with something that you can employ in your business right away, or just be inspired by it.
Alrighty, and if you are in the New Jersey and New York area and you're interested in an awning or window treatments, or if you're a designer out of state and you have a project here on the East Coast and you need some help, please reach out to us here at WindowWorks. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. Send us an email, DM us, PM us, and we would be happy to help you on your next project.
And if you are in the Philadelphia area, please let us know if we can support you in your window treatments. We are Vitalia Inc. is my company, Vitalia Inc. Window Treatments. We are a go-to resource, a one-stop shop, a concierge level, a white glove service exclusively for luxury interior designers ready to fly first class in the world of window treatments. So if you want that kind of level of support, we would be happy to work with you. Give me a call, send me a DM, PM, email. I'm happy to talk to you.
Alrighty, everyone. Well, that concludes episode number 98. We hope you all have a great holiday weekend. I think we all need it. So,
We definitely do. A long weekend is way overdue for all of us.
yes. So, sending you all love and light, and we hope you have a great weekend with all your loved ones.
Thank you so much. And join us here every Friday at 9 a.m., where Kim and I talk all things window treatment for our next episode, number 99 of Window Treatment Friday Live, and thereafter every Friday at 9. Hope to see you then.
Bye.